South African-born Ntobeko Mchijwa is an artist and a fine arts lecturer at the African Christian University in Zambia. This is a story of how, when driven by faith and the power of conviction, life can change for the glory of God.
Before I came to Zambia, I was doing my master's and I was an assistant lecturer as well, and a tutor for second years and first years. But I was not enjoying what I was doing in that environment due to my worldview and the worldview of the university. So there was constant clash, and I constantly felt like I was restrained. I couldn't say things in a certain way, or I couldn't say certain ideologies because it must be kept in this humanistic way of thinking. My worldview was based on a biblical worldview, and the university worldview is based on a humanistic worldview, and that's broad. Humanism is not just one thing, it's broad. And one of the things was my lecturers and my supervisors, their view was an atheistic worldview. You know, we don't believe in God. I believe whatever I want to believe. I remember when I was doing my master's, my thesis, I was researching on sociology meets theology within fine arts. And I remember the first thing I was told, this is not a theological school. Why are you trying to bring theology into these things? And I had to argue for why I'm trying to do that. And my argument was, everyone asks a theological question. It doesn't matter if you believe in God or if you don't. Something happens, people will say, where is God when this happened? Or what kind of God will allow this to happen? That's a theological question. It is the theological answer, but it's asked in a sociological environment. So that was my thing. And I didn't know what I was going to come up with in terms of visuals, but the writing part was going to be that. So I kept on being poked around about that, to change it, not to go with it, it's not going to work. So after that, considering that, I resigned. And you must bear in mind, I just lost my father. And so now I'm this guy who's sort of looking after my siblings. So I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I know I don't want to do this.
2016 saw Ntobeko not only lose his father, leaving him to look after his 3 siblings, but he also had to deal with a difficult work environment and employers who at that point hadn't paid him in months. It is at this critical point Ntobeko chose to resign, giving up his job and forfeiting his master's degree. However, by God's grace and his perfect timing, a way was made through the innocent persistence of an old friend and colleague named Prashant.
He spoke to me in 2015 about ACU, but I didn't take it seriously. I was like, I don't know, maybe. So eventually, after I resigned, he calls me. He says, Ntobeko, man, I'm still trying to approach you about ACU. What do you think? Have you made your mind yet? This is what we're doing here. We would love to have someone of your skills to come and be. I said to him immediately, I said, yes. In that secular environment where humanism dominates as an ideology, to here in ACU where the ideology is a biblical worldview, it's quite different. For example, here sociology is being taught, fine arts is being taught, and we're not discarding things that have been written by other people. So ACU looks at what has been written in sociology or in fine arts for that matter, and look and try to find truth, goodness, and beauty in that, and compare that to what does the Bible say about art, about beauty, about goodness, about truth. And we look at those ideologies and compare them with the biblical worldview. God is center of everything. Therefore, man's main purpose is to glorify God in whatever they do. Politics, arts, music, medicine, you name it. So that's the difference between where I was working and where I'm working now. You find that people, they think that I can only work or do things for God if I'm inside the church, or if I'm preaching, or if I'm evangelizing, or if I'm singing. I want to see education transforming students within here in Zambia to understand that I can be an engineer, at the same time understand that me being an engineer, it's not something that's away from God. In fact, I'm in God before I'm an engineer, and I can work from there. And understanding that everything that I do it needs to honor God. I don't need to be something else. I can be an engineer and still honor God. I can be a man in parliament and still honor God. I can be whatever field within society and still honor God. And that's where God has called me to be.
Truly, we are our convictions. The belief we share in Christ should not only be one that exists in the secret places of our hearts and minds, but one that explodes into our lives, bringing light and displaying boldness in Christ to those around us. And wherever God has placed us, may we truly be seeking to live for Him and His kingdom.